Confessions. Today I've got the lovely Lindsey Lakes. Welcome.
Hi, thank you for having
Of
me.
course. By the way, you can vape, so don't worry. Um,
Okay, I was like, grab.
so first question, how old are you?
I'm 25.
25.
But if you use the Wii Fit, like the whole Wii Fit thing, I'm probably like 40.
What's Wii Fit?
Like the Nintendo Wii used to have this thing where it would like tell you how old your body is based off like your balance
Um,
and based off of like your fitness level. So I have a 40-year-old fitness level, but a 25-year-old technically.
okay. All right.
So yeah, I just felt like I'd disclose that.
Okay. Well, I've never heard of that, but all right. Yeah, no. If I did that, it'd probably say I was 60.
Yeah, it's rough. It's rough out here.
So how did you first get into porn? Like, how did you get?
Uh, so I started out in May and it really just all like I was doing OnlyFans and everything and I just had some issues with my account with OnlyFans, so I like restart everything. And so then like while I was in the process of restarting, I was like looking for people to like collab with and everything. And then I was like, ew, not ew, but I was like, I didn't know anybody. And so I was like, well, why don't I just try porn? Because everyone's tested, everyone's like this. And so I started porn in May
Okay. So how
and haven't looked back.
How did you start OnlyFans though? Like, how did you start sex work, period?
Um, so I started OnlyFans last November and I was working at this restaurant because I've always been in the restaurant industry. And so I was like, the restaurant was slowing down. We were in our slow season. And I was like, I'm going to lose my job. I need to figure out how to make money. And so I was like, well, I can do OnlyFans because then it's like, kind of more secretive. So I can try that out. So then I started doing OnlyFans and I really, really liked it. And just didn't really look back.
Okay. But how'd you first get the idea though? Like, did someone
It started
mention
out as a
it to you,
joke.
or do you have like clients who are like, oh, do
Um,
you have an OnlyFans?
no, it was more of like started out as a joke. And then at my restaurant, this one girl, like they hired this one girl and she was like, oh, I actually do have an OnlyFans. I was like, oh, really? And then she was like, yeah, you should really do it. And then so she kind of helped me like start like how you're supposed to do it and everything. Because I've always been just like a horny motherfucker anyway. And, my mom always told me if you're good at something, don't do it for free. So I just kind of put all that together and was just like, maybe sex work is where I should be this whole time.
Okay. Did you have any concerns though going into it? Because society kind of has a double edged or a double standard when it comes to men and women, that kind
Yeah.
of thing.
So honestly, I probably should have had more concerns just because of my upbringing. It was very like old Southern, like Pentecostal, all that like loveliness. And so I really should have had more of like a holdback with it. But I think because I grew up in that environment and because like I saw that no matter what you do, people are going to judge you anyway, and they're always going to find something to talk about. I was like, I would rather if people are judging me or think I'm a slut or whatever, have proof. Like, yeah, I am a slut. Like, here's this. Like, thank you for noticing me. Versus like talking behind my back and being like, oh my God, she's like so slutty. She's doing this. She like did this. I would rather be like, yeah, I did. Here's the video. And if you want to see it, you can pay me $20, So, so that's just how I looked at it. I don't know. I know that a lot of people were like, oh, like people are going to like judge you and listen. I'm like, people have been judging me all my life anyway for stuff I never even did. So I might as well just do what I want to do, make a little cash, and then, maybe make some good videos. I can look back when I'm old and decrepit and be like, oh, I was hot at one time. Yeah.
Hell, that's one way to look at it.
Yeah. Well, it's true, especially when you're like a girl. Like I grew up with very, very um, like old school Duggar style like standards for how to be a girl. Like my parents got me a book when I was
What
6
is
called
Duggar?
The Princess Kiss. The Duggars is like that giant family that like everyone had to wear like homeschooled, wear like the long skirts and
Oh,
everything like that. It was just like super religious. That's how we were. Um, it was intense. So I think and people are like it's a rebellious thing why you liked fucking so much. And I'm like, I don't really think it was necessarily that. I think I just always like if things didn't make sense to me and if you had a rule and I asked you why and you couldn't come up with a good answer, I was just going to do what I wanted to
Okay.
do. I don't think that's rebellious.
You said she bought you a book, The Princess what?
So it's called The Princess Kiss, and it was 6 years. I was 6 years old, and it had my name, like like engraved on it. And this whole book was about this princess, and you only have one kiss in your life, one kiss to give to somebody. And this rich guy came, but he didn't love her, and like blah blah blah. It's all about like basically like you have one shot. You have one shot to find like the perfect person to give up your like kiss slash virginity to. So like be careful who you give it to or all this. But basically, then in the book, there's a girl who like gave it right way to the wrong person, and she's shunned, she's shamed, she's a broken woman. And so like, yeah,
Wow.
it's pretty intense for a 6 year old, I'm not gonna lie.
Damn.
I was like, damn, this is a lot of pressure.
So because I've always thought like Baptists are like the most conservative of Christians, but I think Pentecostal might actually be worse, right?
It depends. So I feel like in all religions, there's always going to be that like scale of like by like I'm just like this religion or denomination by name, and then I'm this by like extremist. My parents were very like, um, and we grew up in a very like extreme version of just Christianity in general. Like we went to a Pentecostal church because they're pretty intense, but they also like we did like messianic stuff. So we're not Jewish, but we would do like Jewish holidays because they just want to add more religions to do. So we would do like Sabbath, Passover. We did Hanukkah when I was like 4, apparently. I don't remember that. But yeah. So it was pretty much just like anything that could just like add more religion, they would just do. Which I'm like, maybe we could have a new tradition. Like, most families like take their kids out to Disney. We, celebrated holidays for religion we weren't even a part of.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, but I don't really like. I look back at like all of that, and I don't know. It's not. I guess it's like I like traditions and stuff like that. So in some aspects, I'm like, we had that like close knit kind of thing. Just got a little bit toxic there towards the end, but yeah.
So what's your relationship like with your parents now?
Um. So it's interesting. It's like so I ended up telling my mom in like okay, that's like a month into the industry, like what I was doing because I wanted them to hear it from me. And I was like, I have 6 sisters and a brother, and like just a huge ass family. And so I was like, more than likely they're gonna find out,
Yeah.
right? So I went ahead and told her, and I mean, like, she was upset, but the concerns for her was mostly like any kind of parent would be like safety, like, like who's checking up on you. And then it was interesting though, because she was more like, she's like, I feel like you shouldn't be doing mainstream porn. She's like, because she wanted me to own the content. I was like, what? She's like, yeah. She was like, I would rather you be doing like OnlyFans or other stuff so you can at least own it and like all of this instead of like, working for other people and not having control of how it's advertised. So that was interesting to me on her perspective of that. My dad didn't find out until like a few weeks ago, and that was really that was really hard. But we still play Wordle together,
What's
so
that?
we just don't talk about it. Wordle is like a little Scrabble game, like
Oh,
from the New York Times. Yeah. So I mean, like I think it's like we always had kind of like a strange relationship, like since I was like an adult and everything. So it's just kind of trying to find a way to like you know, love and respect each other, but within like our own boundaries. Because I'm not going to change the way they think about everything, and they're not going to change the way I think about everything. So kind of like the middle ground
yeah.
with that.
Wow. I mean, I'm really impressed with your mom's reaction. I mean, because
Yeah.
like she almost came at it from like a very entrepreneurial mindset. Like if you're gonna do this,
Hmm.
you know, apply the right business practices to it, and
Yeah.
that's especially
Yeah.
given how religious and everything they are.
I know. Yeah, it was interesting because with her thing, like she's known me since I was born. It's been a while, and so with with her thing, she's just like she's never liked the concept of working for anybody. Like she was always like she was mainly a stay-at-home mom, but she always found ways to make money, like because there were so many of us, so we were a little broke. And so like she like ran her own like house cleaning business and would like cook for people, like private chef kind of thing. And so for her thing, it's like, you know, you are in the like how you put yourself in the world, how you brand yourself is always going to be the most important. And whenever you work for other people, you're a little more like constricted or whatever into like how they can perceive you, which is true because you know you can make like a video and you're like, oh, this is great, and then you see like how they caption it or whatever, and you're like, what? But that goes for collabs too. People do that too. So it's kind of just like, you know, owning what you do and owning your work.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, fuck. As a dad myself, honestly, I mean, your dad handled it pretty well.
I mean, he was, that was probably like the one moment where I was just like, I don't know if I can like, because that was like the first time I saw them in like 3 years. My mom got sick. And so I had to go down to South Carolina. And that was like the first time like I've seen them in years. And he like, I don't know. It was really hard seeing how my dad was like taking everything and all that. But he never really like um I don't know, it wasn't like he was angry at me, he was just like sad and I was like, I can't handle this. Because like I've always been like I guess like the black sheep, but I've always known that I'm like the favorite kid, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. Like they're like, oh, because it's like, you know, I think for myself, I do my own thing. And I think like as much as they hate that sometimes, they like respect it because they know it's like, okay,